Hi, and welcome to the Wednesday Word. Ashley had just returned home from attending an open house at the new school with her parents and her grandma. Daddy and Grandma were sitting on the porch swing while Mommy was making supper, and Ashley was marching around with her helium-filled balloon that she had received. The wind blew and her balloon seemed like it was trying to escape. It was almost like trying to hold on to a horse that was bent on galloping away. Her daddy warned her, "Never let go, or else you'll probably never see it again." She didn't want that, so she held on tight. She kept her balloon for several days until the helium all came out of it and it slowly floated to the ground. A couple months passed and Grandma became very sick and needed to go to the hospital. Ashley kept asking her dad about going to visit her, but Daddy was always too busy. He'd say, "We'll go see Grandma next week. I've got some important work that just can't wait." That next week just seemed to get further and further away. Ashley kept asking her dad about it. After a day of the usual bother about visiting Grandma, Daddy finally snapped. He said, "All right, young lady, you listen here. I want you to stop bothering me about this. We'll go see your grandma very soon and she'll be just fine until then. The work I have to do is very important. I have to finish it." Ashley looked at the floor and said in a sad voice, "I'm sorry for bothering you so much, Daddy, but you should never let go, or else you'll probably never see her again." Daddy turned away from Ashley and back toward his work, but his mind refused to focus. He felt a tear in his eye. His 9-year-old daughter had taken something he said to her and applied it to something that was more important than a helium-filled balloon. He felt a couple tears roll down his cheeks, but then he wiped them off and smiled really big. He put down his work and turned around to his daughter and said, "This work can wait. We're going to see Grandma right now." He took her hand in his and they marched out to the car. Grandma was very glad to see them, of course. Daddy told Grandma the story of how they ended up coming at this particular time, and she began to cry a bit. Ashley said, "Don't be sad, Grandma." Grandma assured her she wasn't and smiled to prove it. Ashley and her daddy visited Grandma often from then on. After a few months, Grandma passed away, but they still never let go. They often visited her grave and reminisced about the special times they had shared together. Almost always they mentioned the lesson that was learned from a simple helium-filled balloon. It became a constant reminder not to be careless and become so busy you neglect the most important people in your lives. If you haven't decided on a New Year's resolution this year, this may be a good one to begin with. Have a good week.